I, zasko3, the mechanical coach, have had a student come up to me interested in learning the art of the angle hold. Despite having 2,000 hours in Valorant and playing the game very often, they just weren't able to intuitively figure out how the pros are able to effortlessly click the head. And while the truth is, for a long time I didn't either, and it took me many hours of studying how all the best angle holders in the world are able to do it. But luckily for you guys, you don't have to go through that, because in this video I take the confusing world of angle holding and turn it into an extremely simple 3-step formula that you can immediately start implementing into your gameplay, and if you stick around to the end of the video, you'll be getting those trigger bot accusations in no time. Angle holding just felt so much more crisp.
You're a T-bot? You're a trigger bot.
Now yes, my private coaching sessions are usually paid for, however this one in particular was the lucky winner of my monthly raffle. In the description of this video you'll find a link to my Ko-Fi page, where from there you can either purchase a coaching session for yourself or become a Ko-Fi supporter for as little as $3.33 a month, gaining you access to not only the monthly raffles but also an active Discord server and a weekly Q&A video. But without further ado, let's get stuck into the coaching session. First of all, what rank were you? Can I guess and say like Ascendant 3 Immortal 1?
My peak is Ascendant 3, yeah.
Okay. Where are we at now?
I'm hella washed. I deranked to Ascendant 1 earlier today.
Okay, cool.
This entire act has been horrible for me, bro.
A good chunk of the deaths that I just watched over in the deathmatch definitely came from crosshair being in the wall, which is something that can be avoided. But from your perspective, is there anything that stands out to you that's like something you want to work on that you don't really know about, or is there anything that you feel like you'd want to get?
For me, I feel like my angle holding, and kind of I have this really bad habit that when I'm like holding an angle, I'll kind of flick reactively because I think they've gone past my crosshair.
Well, maybe we can start with angle holding. That's a super easy one. Angle holding is one that I've got a very unique philosophy to. With angle holding, my key points, I've got like these 3 key ideas basically. The first one is just understanding what the situation itself is. When it comes to understanding the situation you're in, it's just as simple as, can we hear running? Is this an exec? Can we hear utility? Is there actually something happening and we can guarantee people are swinging? We 100% of the time want to move our crosshair out wider, and then if we hear nothing at all, for example, maybe there's a fake A exec happening and you're not 100% sure and you're very certain a cipher is going to walk up, we should be holding close, because if you imagine what that cipher is doing, it's contacting space. He's clearing his angles one by one. That means he needs to isolate them. That means he needs to be further back, and that means he doesn't need the wide swing and he's going to just close swing his angles. I'll give you a visual representation of that just to make it make sense. But it's a very simple concept, but being simple doesn't take away from the fact that we need to practice it and like actually rewire our brain to read. When it comes to actually going for the click timing side of things, I'm gonna say close is holding here, wide is like here. And it's a huge difference, because if you're holding here and you get close peaked, you do have to flick, right? 100%. But if you're holding here and they don't close peak and they wide swing, you will have to flick. But this is where I would say we don't flick. I would only ever flick if we're holding wide and we're caught off guard by a close peak. I'd like, maybe flick and fall back. It's a bit of nuance to that, which I'll get into. The enemy perspective of that, oh guys, let's exec site, I'm dropping smokes, let's go. And bang, this person has just wide swung you, but then the cipher lurking up is going to be like clearing his angles one by one, and well, this would be the equivalent of that close peak. So you can kind of understand and gauge when you would want to do which one in which situation, and that is something to constantly reflect on and constantly get yourself like if you're watching back footage, watch back the footage with the intentions of judging whether you picked the right one to hold. From there, what does the actual form look like? First of all, did we keep a still mouse? Is like keeping a still mouse is the one thing that I really swear by. Like the difference between just simply click timing and moving and then click timing, that's the time in which you lose your advantage. You lose you're holding this, but then instead of just insta-killing them, you then try and like move, track them, but then you're reading their movement and there's all these extra steps. That's the time where the person just like stops and kills you. And you also overcomplicate it. Like if they're running out, you just click time it. That's all it is, right? You just want to click time, but then the second you move, and then if they have the time to stop, you're adding in more movement reading. You need to read whether they stop. You need to read whether they're going back the other way. You need to read whether they're crouching. You need to read all these different attributes of their swing when it could have been just stopped from the start by just killing them, or missing and falling back, which is something I'm going to get to. Where is our focal point? If we don't have a focal point at all and we're just like barely staring at our screen with this kind of broad vision, you know, maybe we're half looking at the mini map, we're really not that focused on anything that's happening here, I would question the decision to angle hold in the first place. Is like, okay, if you're IGLing and you're, you know, trying to read the game, maybe just jiggle, read the game, jiggle, read the game. If you're in a shooter position, this is me, I don't want to IGL, I don't really care about what's happening A, unless I hear some sounds and people die that I'll rotate. I kind of tunnel vision a little bit more. I'm listening to sounds, but my full visual acuity, my focal point is so deeply on the crosshair. Like, I am looking into the white of the crosshair. And why do I do that? Because when the person swings me, what I want to do is track their head with my peripheral vision. It's a very second nature subconscious action, right? I don't, you know, literally consciously think about this, but this is what I've trained my brain to do. If you move your eyes away from the crosshair and then you start to track this moving target, we now add reaction time to it, and it's like the time that it takes to read the movement targeting. Now we flick our eyes to this moving target that's probably already about here, and then we have to register the timing as well. It's a lot more complicated than our eyes never move from the crosshair. The target comes, it's swinging. At this point here, our visual acuity, like the reaction time, kicks in, and we're like, oh, yep, he's coming and he's coming. And then because our eyes haven't moved, we're easily able to time the click. Versus the alternative, your eyesight's here, but then you move it here once it gets to like here, and then you're tracking it again, and it's like an extra step that doesn't need to be there. That's a little bit of nuance that's like easily summed up by saying just focus on your crosshair and don't take your eyes off the crosshair while you're angle holding. From there, it's timing the shot, and this is a skill. This is something we got to learn. This is something we got to develop big time through repetitions, which is something that I'll discuss as well. It kind of comes back to the first point, is just mouse still, eyes on the crosshair, focus, click and fall back, click and fall back. There's not much else to it. When people have a bad angle hold, it's never due to them not doing the right things or not doing enough things. It's just due to them doing too many of the wrong things. The second you add in mouse movements, you add in time to kill. The second you add in other stuff, it's just more time to kill. Movement especially.
Yeah,
bad.
I find myself like falling asleep on the angle sometimes.
Yeah.
You kind of lose a bit of focus.
And if that's the case, and you feel that, like focus, and you feel the blurriness or whatever, like you're just struggling with that, call it like, it's like focus training. You know, if you keep sticking to it, you'll push the limits of how long you can focus for. But if you are at your limit, fall back for a second, all right, reset, hold the angle, and then try and put your full focus on it again. It's like straining almost, because you're really focused, but I don't know, in my opinion, that's what it takes to be able to be as deadly as possible with the angle holds. Is it takes a focused, sharp mind, and that's something you can train. Just stare at dots. I used to put a dot on my wall and stare at it, bro. I used to do like half an hour. That's probably why I can do my angle holds like that. I should bring that back. That's funny as. But did we react properly after shooting? Question number one, do we have cover? In this case, we do. All right, so we're here, we're shooting. We can easily fall back to cover, right? What that allows us to do is unpeak and assess the situations. Do we have any new options? And it's like, what actually is the game state? Should we look to hit a combo, or should we take the advantage and fall back? And what I mean by that is angle holding properly allows you to make some really good in-game decisions. Say we're here, we're holding, and two people double swing off a flash. I shoot and fall back. Say I kill one, lucky shot, and I fall back, and now it's a 5 versus 4. To now go and re-swing, I would say that's troll, because we've got our numbers advantage, and if I die here, all I'm doing is giving them the B site uncontested now. I've just given them the site for free. When what I could have done is played further back, held the off angle, or wrapped around here, held the B main, dropped the smoke, held the smoke, drop a retake smoke, hold the retake smoke, play back site. There's so many things that you could do besides going for the re-swing. If you do get the initial kill, that's something to consider. As much as it's mechanical coaching, the mechanics will set you up to make these decisions. What it takes is to redevelop your mechanical reflexes to, instead of getting one and then, oh, there's more, let's keep fighting, right? Because this is a habit. This is a habit people have. Instead of that, scratch that, rewire your brain to just shoot and fall back in all situations. Because what's the alternative? You shoot and you don't kill one and you fall back. but maybe it's just a cipher and he's getting a bit confident, he's pushing up. Well, then I would say just walk up and then wide swing him, catch him off guard with the combos and the whole concept that I've spoken about heaps. And I don't know if you have watched any of the other coaching sessions, but the slice into the wide, that whole concept. Yeah, I spoke about how if you peek them from here, you condition their crosshair to this point. So then if you unpeek, they'll still be holding that and you wide swing, your crosshair is now here, and that the difference is very dramatic. So you'll break their crosshair placement hard, and it's like a very free kill. I've never ever done this to someone and had them like react and kill me. It's very free. Yeah, that's why I don't ever commit after holding angle. It's actually a reflex of mine that after I shoot mouse 1, I fall back. Yeah, it's just simply because whether I want to be aggressive or commit to the fight or be passive and fall back, falling back after shooting allows me to do both of those things better. That completes the 4 steps there, 3 steps, which is to have our setup set us up for success, effectively click time without any clutter, and then react in a way that sets us up for a lot more success. But yeah, this one here is a bit nuancey, which I'll explain. But are you familiar with the idea of like anti-mirror strafes? And if someone's moving left, you move the opposite way so that you're a harder target to hit?
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so for example, if they swing out this way and we swing this way, we're kind of like reversing, right? What that does is, say you were like this person here and you're angle holding and you're expecting a close peek, they run past your crosshair. Just like how I said instinctively here, mouse 1 and fall back without registering whether you got the kill or not, just shoot and fall back, right? It's the same thing here, right, with no cover, because the close peek comes in, we shoot and move to the right. Why? Because we either get the kill and now we're like repositioned a little bit if someone else reswings that we're not as tradable. Option 2, we shoot thinking it's going to be a close peek, we miss, and then we instinctively move, and now we've just done an anti-mirror dodge. We've had this person peek us, 200 milliseconds, they register, you know, oh hey, this guy's playing right here. He's moving, we've now moved to the right, and in the time that he's gone like this, we've actually now dodged his bullets because we immediately moved to our left. And what does it come down to? It's just literally in all situations, depending on the side, right? This reverses if you're holding this side, or if you're out in the open, shoot and dodge and then shoot again. You never have to think about what you're going to do as a step 2 game plan. You're always going to do the exact same thing, and that means you don't have to react to anything, and that means you don't have to waste any time. 0 milliseconds after you shoot, you can already be actioning step 2, which might be fall back or dodge. And that's where you get confidence, right? Because a lack of confidence, a lack of game plan, you're not going to trust that you can just click time. You want to really secure the kill by going out, right? But if you have a game plan, it feels like you're just going for an easy shot, like just fall back, shoot and fall back. Cool, I went for a pot shot, missed it. Went for a pot shot, missed it. Like at this point, I still don't even care. They're not even on side yet. Go for another. At this point, I probably killed like 1 at least. Now wrap around, I'm holding this angle, shoot and fall back, shoot and fall back, shoot and fall back, shoot and fall back. This is why defense is so fun for me.
Would you adapt to like from game to game based on like agent com? Let's say there's a flash on a certain angle that like you shouldn't really play if there's a flash, or do you just go for a flash dodge?
To be honest, I'm not too phased, because at the end of the day, the flash will get you off the angle, and that's the point of it. Yeah. If this person was to kill me without a flash, I guess the flash doesn't change anything in my opinion. All it does is just stops you from like, it like really stops you from playing in this one position. You get no information and stuff like that.
Kind of angles, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're just kind of shooting and falling back. What it does do is it stops you from shooting off of reaction, like when you see the target, you're not shooting. Instead, the second you get flashed, you're going to shoot and fall back. So technically, yes, there's an advantage for them to flash, but it's not like it's a detriment to you at all. All you're doing is just, cool, there's like slightly less of a chance you're going to get the kill. And then you get flashed here. If you can hear the steps especially, like time it off the steps and then fall back. If you get seized, that is terrifying. I would be changing up the way I play if I get seized. But I don't know, there's not too many other ones that are like, everything else, you can kind of just tank it. And if you're really confident and you're like, yeah, I'm going to just show them I don't care, then you can have a lot of pressure. Any thoughts on that one?
No, I think the info you gave was good.
I want to show you something specific to your gameplay that I think is going to help a lot. Every time you're in this position, it happens. I'm not even joking. Every single time you die in this position.
I remember the second death here as well.
Yeah, every time without fail. So our crosshairs in the wall, we are pre-aiming deep, and we just simply, we are going for this target here.
Yeah.
And someone ends up being here. And the thing is, it's not bad to go for that target per se, but we are going for it here when we are. So we're pre-aiming really deep, and we also have a box here that also we have to get past, and we're completely neglecting all of the potential for someone to be here. I think there's just a simple new habit we can instill that will remove this problem. In the video you watched, I broke down the steps of a peek, which is to set up, commit, preemptively stop, because that'll make your peek faster. If you're stopped and you see someone, you can shoot them rather than having to stop, react, and then shoot. Preemptively stop, and then micro adjust and shoot. So peek, shoot, peek, shoot. The most important thing for you is actually the setup and deciding on when we do it. Technically, when you look at this clip, you have done your setup. The idea is there, but what's lacking is keeping that setup as concise and quick as possible, because setup is like vulnerability. Setup is you being in a position where you're like this, you're set up, and then you get swung and you're like, oh shit. So what we want it to be is ready, set up, peek, trace, getting ready, bang. Okay, cool, I'm back, peek, set up, peek, peek. And the difference between my gameplay and yours here is if I was setting up for this fight here, instead of setting up here and going like this, what I want it to be is trace, set up, peek. So that setup, I want it to be quick. I want it to be like almost instantaneous, because it's only time where your crosshair's in the wall, and crosshair in the wall is not going to kill anyone. It's going to be really hard to kill people. And I have an example I can show you. So this is a slower pace gameplay, but it shows you that the amount of time in which my crosshair is in the wall is very little. So you'll notice, right? Let's have a look. I set up here, and then I peek. And now the next angle is tree, and in this corner. And instead of pre-aiming this, and then walking out to peek it, right, with my crosshair in the wall until I get out there, what I do is I actually just trace this angle until I'm ready to set up. So I trace. Cool, now I'm ready to set up. It's set up, peek, and you'll see that here. Set up, peek. I want you to look at the amount of time you're in wall mode, setup mode, and the longer your setups are, the worse. Like, that's an extremely long setup in comparison to setup, peek. Like, that is an extremely long time to be crosshair in the wall.
Fair enough, yeah.
So yeah, just need to rewire that. I like that you stop. I like that you're intentional. Look at this, very intentional. You preemptively stop. This is really good. Okay, but we now got to get the small, finer details down nice, because yeah, you can see that that wasn't even the death as well. That was actually just a random time you're clearing. There's more deaths in that exact same spot. In terms of practice and like, because it's one thing to know these things, right? I tell everyone this, but like, this session doesn't mean anything unless you now go about it the right way. Skill acquisition is made up of learning and then practice, or I guess repetitions. So just understand that in this session today, you've now learned some fresh concepts. What I've done is point out bad habits that you've got, right? For example, is like, you don't set yourself up nice and quick, and then you're too vulnerable, or angle holding habits, right? Practice and repetition is important, because would you be able to tell me how many hours you have in Valorant?
Sadly, I have 2,000, so.
2,000. So this makes it even harder for you, because you've got 2,000 hours of practice and repetitions of the wrong technique, or the wrong habit, or a bad habit. You've got 2,000 hours worth of practice doing the wrong habits. So that means for yourself especially, you're a lot less malleable, and like, you're very firm in a lot of these habits. It's going to take conscious effort for you to change the way that you perform in these specific situations. The only way you can do that is through conscious practice, like repetitions of this completely fresh idea, even though you don't instinctively do it. Like, it's going to carve a new pathway in your brain. The way that I learned it is learning, which we've done today, like digs a little like pathway, a little trench, it's kind of like an engraving. And then with each and every repetition, you kind of make it thicker, and you make it thicker. And as you pass over, it gets clearer and clearer and clearer for your brain. And then you get it so clear to the point where you'll now go and play your comp game. You'll be under stress, and without thinking, your brain just does this thing because the path is really clear. Whereas if you haven't put in the reps and you're still at this point where it's just one thin engraving of something you learned, your brain doesn't fully get it and it doesn't take that clear path. From there, custom game with a mate. Pre-aim prac is crazy good for just refining your technique. Tell him to play anywhere on site, and then just once again, like peek every angle, set up, okay, pre-aim, right, and have him be somewhere on site. You're going to be super ready and there's a bit of extra pressure. You can practice your peeking and everything about it, but also it's just a really good way to simulate like the 1 or 2 core issues that you want, especially your angle holds. Tell him to just swing you. Say, "Oi, can you peek into me? Sometimes can you wide swing and just run? And then other times can you just like walk up and contact space?" And then tell him, just keep fighting. And then you can practice your combos as well if you want. And you'll get in repetition. You'll skyrocket if you do that. Specialized deathmatch is the last thing that I kind of recommend, because I call it specialized deathmatch, especially you. If you got 2,000 hours, bro, you've probably played a shit ton of deathmatch with these. Understand, like every single deathmatch you play it the way you do, line. So now, for me to come and say, "Oh, bro, can you do deathmatch this way?" You're gonna like, the way it always goes, you'll start the deathmatch thinking about it, and then you'll like, "Oh yeah, brain's going back to what I know how to do," because that's the much clearer path. The way that I go about changing that is by trying to like have as big of a disconnect between this original path that you got as possible. Put a barrier there. That barrier is just mute your game. I don't know, even like turning off my HUD helps me, but turn off my HUD so I can't, like, there's just it doesn't feel like this is what I'm trying to say. We have to clear every single angle as well if we turn off our game's sound. So in your case, super valuable. Hopefully that keeps us on track just working on this. Our brain can kind of find its way along it. Each repetition, we start to refine this pathway more and more and more. A quick way to work on your angle hold. This is how I got my angle holds to where they are. I Valorant angle hold V2, chuck it on free play, set a 10-minute timer. You don't even need to, the timer's at the top. And then just shoot and fall towards the wall. This is literally all I did for a very long time. Focus on the target and just it's repetition. You don't need a mate. You don't need anyone. Right. And the head here is definitely smaller than in Valorant. So if you can whip this out, you'll be sweet. So pick what you're going to work on. Are you working on your peaks? Are you working on your angle holds when you go into a deathmatch? Sound on for your angle holding deathmatches. Listen for enemies. Stop on whatever angle or off angle you want. And then shoot the angle before they peek you. I'm sure you've seen me do this or seen it done in general. If you shoot beforehand, they're now like, "Oh shit, someone's here." And they know exactly like the direction you are. So they're going to peek you with intent, which is going to be super realistic. And then just try and hold it with proper technique, or like shoot and fall back, or shoot an anti-mirror, whatever it is, right? And then just be like super patient in those specific death matches. And yeah, I think this will help a lot. I'm keen to see how you go. Okay. And I mean, you're the first monthly raffle winner. I'm happy for you.
Thanks, man.
No dramas. Yes, yeah.